As an organization, what we have done wonderful is, we have taken a kind of proactive steps to secure our, the workforce. So what we have done is we have, first of all, we have, stopped our, office functionality and ask everybody to, work from home. That was the first, good thing that we have done proactively. So, later on, everybody has done it, but we have done in the very beginning, to so that, our workforce, doesn't get affected by, this pandemic. Second thing, what we have done is, that initial 2, 3, 4 months when the situation was like that, most of the things were not happening. And if it was happening, it was very, kind of snail space. So the morale of the team was kind of, getting affected. So to, bring the morale back, we have started, kind of daily and weekly, conversation with the team. We have also arranged and organized, various kind of online, learning opportunities in the field of functional trainings. Some kind of, if somebody wants to learn some new hobbies, so that also we arranged. So all these things has helped a lot, to keep the morale of the team, at peak. And it helped a lot when, the services have started resuming. So most of our projects and most of our functions were, you know, came right on track. Instead of, delaying all the activities for another 2 to 3 months, we have started, working in the same pace how we are doing, prior to this particular pandemic. IPP is basically independent power producer. That is the kind of textbook definition. But what it really means is starting from the very first step, which is exploring a particular project, up to maintaining that project for 25 years of lifetime. That's what an IPP player should do. And it is a kind of completely different thing from Sustain's original business, which was EPC, engineering, procurement, and construction. So EPC's horizon is 1 year, max to max 2 years, till the time project is in construction mode. Whereas IPP life cycle starts from exploration of that project and up to 25 years post commissioning of that project. So IPP is much more wide array of activities that IPP player needs to do compared to what EPC player will be doing. Having said that, IPP has to build on a foundation of EPC. So IPP player has to either give the turnkey EPC execution of the project to a third party EPC, or IPP can have an in-house EPC team. And fortunately, Sustain was having both the kind of pillars available. So IPP was also there, and a very strong EPC team was also there. So I thought in this particular space we are the best placed organization. Even if we want to go for a complete IPP mode. So in that case also, our existing EPC capabilities can be leveraged. So that's how I see our future IPP journey in the solar industry. I joined Mahindra Sustain around 6.5 years before, and I joined basically as a kind of senior manager and looking after the land permits, approvals, and project development related activities. And that point of time, there were very, very, kind of few projects that, Mahindra Sustain was having around kind of, 60, 70 megawatt projects. 2, 3 projects were there. From that particular, point, right now we are having more than 1.6 gigawatt of solar projects. That is 1600 megawatt of solar projects in our portfolio. And another interesting thing is when we started our IPP journey, it was like a small project of 10 megawatt at the evacuation level of 33 kV. From there, right now we are 250 megawatt of a single project side at 220 kV. So these are just the numbers, but every project is a kind of completely different challenge, completely different. Learnings that you have to deploy for commissioning of that project. So I'm seeing the over the span of 6 years, there are so many learning opportunities. There are so many challenging opportunities that we have successfully fulfilled and successfully, completed our projects as an IPP player. Of course, as an EPC, we have done, lots of various, milestones that we have achieved. But this IPP journey is also equally, exciting for us over the last 6 years. I feel that, I am a bit of both, extrovert as well as introvert, kind of person. But the feedbacks that I keep on receiving from my closed ones who are, in touch with me for several years, and my, close relatives, uh, my, personality changes, in complete opposite directions depending upon the mood. If I'm in a very good mood, I will become a kind of, extrovert person. If, I'm kind of, lagging in my mood, then I will become an introvert person. So yeah, one can say that I am a very moody person. As far as, my personality is concerned, I am a very, happy-go-lucky kind of person, and I don't want to keep, much things stored in my head, and I don't want to, worry too much about the future or, about the past. So I basically try to live in the moment. I would like to learn, anything new. So that's basically my hobby. That, anything new is there, I would like to try my hand on it. Like, even playing guitar. Though I'm very bad in, playing guitar. Then, learning something new. Like, recently I started, learning German language. Really, I love playing chess. Playing chess is one of my biggest, hobby that, I keep on, whenever I have some free time, I will try to, play chess online with various, opponents. I'm actually member of various chess clubs also. Reading books is one of my hobbies, and adventure sports. I joined as a senior manager and taking care of one of the, major activities, which was land permits and approvals, basically the project development activities. And right now I'm basically handling the entire life cycle of project, starting from bidding and commissioning, asset management, everything. So this 6 years was kind of, very, very, fulfilling for me in terms of, learning the new aspects of solar projects. So Mahindra Sustain is a kind of vertically integrated and even horizontally integrated kind of company in solar domain, where we have our own EPC department, O&M department, we have products division, we have rooftop division. So anything and everything in the field of solar will be, being done in Mahindra Sustain. So I got a chance to learn from, almost all the teams of Mahindra Sustain, whatever they are doing. So, kind of getting to know the entire gamut of, solar industry. So that was a very, wonderful opportunity that, I have received in Mahindra Sustain so far. And of course, as you rightly said, professionally, I started as senior manager, and right now I'm leading this particular SBU. So that is also kind of, much fulfilling, for me, that, a small part of activity and leading the entire SBU. So it's really a wonderful experience that, I had. So when I joined, Mahindra Sustain, in the first month of joining, I have been given a very challenging task of, completing, NA conversion, that is non-agricultural conversion of one of our first project, which was 3 megawatt project in Karnataka. Now, that point of time in Karnataka, non-agriculture conversion would normally take minimum, 12 months to 18 months. So 1 year to 1.5 years is the minimum time frame if you want to do non-agriculture conversion in Karnataka at that point of time. And I have been given a timeline of 6 months that, I have to complete it within 6 months. And that was basically my first project in Karnataka. I took that challenge. That was, definitely a Herculean task. I was working, more than 18 hours a day, to complete that particular activity. There were various government functionalities were involved into that. So coordination between all of them, and it was very challenging. And I have completed that activity within 4 months. And this has given me a kind of, a deep, sense of satisfaction that being my first project, first challenging task in Karnataka, and I completed within 4 months, which is much ahead than the time frame which was given to me, which was 6 months. So these kind of opportunities, these kind of challenges, of course, at the time of getting that challenge, it will have a kind of lot of pressure on you. But once you complete that challenge, the satisfaction is unimaginable. That's what one should look out for in any company. And that is what I'm getting from very first day of joining in Mahindra Sustain till today. Keep on getting various kind of challenges, various kind of opportunities, which helps me in sharpening my skills and growing me as a person. Right now, solar industry, as you rightly said, it is a very kind of critical juncture at this particular point of time. So the way I see, based on my experience in the renewable energy domain for last 10, 12 years, the biggest issue in front of solar industry right now is balancing between tariff and growth. So tariff means the solar tariff from that particular project, and growth is how much installation should be there per year in India in the solar industry. So if tariff is higher, definitely growth would also be higher. But right now what is happening is tariff is fixed at a particular level, and no matter what kind of challenges are there, what kind of input costs are there, tariff remains at that particular level. Now to thrive this industry, to grow this industry, all the IPP players have to strike a balance between the tariff and their growth story. So if kind of IPP player like ourselves, if we can crack that maintaining the same tariff, still earning decent IRRs, decent financials from the project, if we can crack this particular secret, then I think there are so many opportunities available in India for solar industry. So as I told you earlier, as Mahindra Sustain, because we have experience of more than 10 years in this particular domain, we have our in-house EPC team, we have our O&M team. There are so many products experience that we have. So as an IPP player, if we can explore various levers like optimizing our cost, optimizing our generation, exploring various business models in solar industry, then probably sky is the limit for solar projects, because there are so many opportunities available in India. Government is also putting a lot of efforts to promote solar industry. The only thing as an IPP player we have to do is we have to crack that code that the tariff is this. How can we increase our project profitability while maintaining that particular tariff? If we can achieve that, then probably we can grow very fast. So I would say that in long term, it will not be a solar industry. It will be more of a renewable industry. So that is an interesting turn of events, which has happened in last couple of years. That the off-takers definitely want a renewable energy. They are not bothered that that energy comes from solar or from wind or from small hydro. They are not bothered about it. As far as it is renewable in nature, they are willing to procure that renewable energy. The only thing what they are seeking for is the renewable energy should be cost effective, so tariff should be lower, and second is it should be reliable. And both these aspects can be achieved if instead of putting a single source of energy, which is solar, if we can combine various sources of energy like solar plus wind plus various kind of storage technologies together, synchronize them, then it will give a kind of not exactly 24/7, but at least a better reliability power, better reliability renewable energy to the off-taker while maintaining the lower tariff. So what I see is going forward, it will be more of a renewable energy industry, which will see a kind of exponential growth. If we can develop that kind of technology to combine all these renewable sources of industry at a single place and give energy to the off-taker at reduced tariff, then definitely the growth is exponential. So the major technological advancements are like, if I speak about, let us see one by one. Wind. So wind, the biggest advantage was increasing the height of wind turbine from earlier 50 meter to now 100 meter, in some cases 150 meter also. So that increases the output voltage, or output power of a wind turbine. Apart from that, there is no major technological advancements were happen in the field of wind so far. In solar also, earlier we are having a lower rated capacity of solar modules. Now we are having higher rated capacity of solar modules. But in solar, there are a couple of interesting technological advancements which has happened. Is tracker technology, then bifacial modules. So all these things gives an edge to solar compared to wind. The technology players has seen this as an opportunity, and what they thought is why not combine wind and solar, so that solar can give us daytime power, wind will give us nighttime power. Combining both these things, we'll have a 24/7 power. Now in that particular case, the challenge was some point of time during the day, both wind will also be there and solar will also be there, and the power output would be higher than what is required. So then they thought, why not store this additional power? So from there, the storage technology came into the picture. So storage was there for many years, but it was not being commercially used. But because of this particular opportunity, which the technology player has seen in power generation, now slowly storage has also been kind of included into the power generation also. So right now it is, so we call it as a RTC power, round the clock power, which combines wind, solar and storage. So these three kind of energy sources, combining all of them together, gives us definitely 80 to 90% CUF, which if I see individual basis, it will give us around 29% CUF. So from 29 to 90%, that is a kind of very good improvement in the CUF that we can see if we combine all these three technological advancements. So that is, I think, going to be the future. And in Mahindra Susten, we have already started taking initiatives in this particular domain. So we have our own storage division who works on combining the power from wind and solar into the storage technology, and as and when required, we can give this power back to the grid. So that's how we try to leverage these technological developments. It is a very difficult question, because I believe, there is something to learn from everyone. So I actually try to find positive attributes from everybody with whom I interact. Even while interacting with you also, I am trying to find some positive attributes which I can absorb in my own personality or in my own nature. One book which is my all-time favorite is Jonathan Livingston Seagull by Richard Bach, because that book gives me an idea of our life's basic purpose, which is to grow, to rise. So that I'm not very sure whether you read that book or not, but that book gives us a sense that as a human being, as a person, what is our basic purpose? The basic purpose is to grow, to learn something new, and to rise. And that book inspires us to find out that particular purpose, and try all our might behind it in achieving that particular purpose. So whenever I feel down, whenever I feel low, I normally read that book and get inspiration out of it. In my view, the best way to live the life is to learn, to grow, to rise. and the only way to achieve it is facing the opportunities, facing the challenges, resolving it, and learning out of it.